Well, Canada's finance minister has unveiled retaliatory tariffs against the United States, saying they will match Washington dollar for dollar, rate for rate. The counter tariffs will take effect on American goods from the 8th of September and will impose duties of 15%, 25% and 50% across 700 imported products. Imran Bayoumi from the Atlantic Council joins me from Washington, DC. Many thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So can you just take me through in a little bit more detail exactly what sectors, what products are going to be costing Canadians more with these tariffs that have been imposed?
So these are really a wide range of tariffs on a ton of goods. You said 700, and that's right. But one thing that stood out to me is honey, for example. These are a lot of artisan goods, and the Canadian government has specifically targeted them towards states where Republican incumbents or candidates are vulnerable ahead of this year's midterms here in the United States. And that's a direct play to try to increase the political pressure on President Trump from within the Republican Party to wind back this trade war.
So is this more about politics? Because we know that the imposition of tariffs hurts the very people who are imposing them.
It's a mix. I think you saw Prime Minister Carney campaign on this elbows up approach to defending Canada's sovereignty. And I think he's demonstrating that he's serious about it. He's not going to accept a deal that is bad for Canada. And you've seen the Canadian opposition parties support the Prime Minister in this approach. He definitely has a lot of political runway to withstand these higher prices, these tariffs, these threats, and probably political support to deliver some sort of targeted package of support to Canadians themselves. I'm not sure that President Trump has that same level of support here in the United States. I think we've seen the high cost of goods be a continuous worry for the Republican Party ahead of the midterms.
Imran, how would you describe this deteriorating relationship between these two neighbours, which has historically been one of good nature and closeness?
I think it's quite shocking to see. I mean, you saw the Canadians, fight alongside the Americans in Afghanistan. The two still cooperate on many areas of shared interest, such as in the Arctic. NORAD, Northcom, is the world's only binational command, which is responsible for the defense of North America. And the two are NATO members, and they share a similar threat perception, and they still retain tons of transporter trade and close economic ties, not to mention cultural ties as well. So I think this is a really shocking deterioration over the past 18 months or so. I think there's a narrow path to maybe end this trade war. We know Canada's retaliatory tariffs aren't coming in until September 8th, so that gives some negotiating time. But I think more broadly, the relationship between the U.S. and Canada will be forever changed going forward.
Yeah, wow, okay. So there's a small window of opportunity for negotiating, but if that isn't successful, it begs the question, where does this all end?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I don't think anyone knows right now. I think we've seen President Trump, threaten and then impose tariffs only to maybe walk them back at the last minute. Numerous times again, we've seen Canada want a firm deal. And I think Canada has seen what's happened to other countries who have signed trade deals with the United States, that those deals maybe don't always hold up. And so, I think there's a crisis of trust. Canada wants something in writing. I'm not sure the United States wants to commit to that. And I think we're going to have this kind of on again, off again tension for the foreseeable future.
Do you think that this could inspire other trading partners to stand up to President Trump's tariffs? Could other countries, change their playbook, including Australia?
I think that's a great question. I think Carney has been one of the only world leaders to really stand firm against the United States. And I think it's a very risky move for him, given how close the two nations, Canada and the United States, how close their economies are interlinked. That being said, I think we've seen him already try to maybe marshal this kind of middle power grand strategy with his speech at the World Economic Forum earlier this year. We haven't really seen countries follow that mold. And, I think the reason for that is for many countries, despite how unpredictable or disruptive the United States may be, those ties are really hard to break. And so Canada is unique in the sense that there's a lot of political support for Prime Minister Carney in his approach. And I'm not sure that support is prevalent or there in other countries around the world.